Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Chuck Friedman, host of Developer's Edge, and I'm excited again to be joined by our video producer, Addison Snidel. Hi Addison.
Hi, great to be here as always.
Well, today's episode features someone who, among all the people I know, is probably in the most perfect role for them. Most of us know Ken Lane as the API evangelist. He's now chief evangelist at a developer favorite tool, Postman. And it was just awesome to talk to Ken.
Ken was very impressive to listen to. He's had such a long career and was able to adapt with the changes in technology, and technology changes every single day. This man was able to remain so passionate about what he does, and even today, his work at Postman has made a profound impact on the developer community.
We're so excited to share this episode featuring Mr. Ken Lane. Hi everybody, welcome back to Developer's Edge. I'm truly excited today to welcome our guest Ken Lane, who's Chief Evangelist at Postman. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Chuck.
Anybody that knows you appreciates your passion for APIs, what you've done for the community, and what you continue to do in this amazing role. Let's talk about that role and how you got to Postman.
I'm a database guy. So I started doing databases in 1987. Fast forward that to the internet starts coming out in 95 to 2000. I'm building database-driven web apps. 2000 to 2005, service-oriented architecture, web services, starting to build more distributed apps. And then I saw the cloud happening. 2006, 2007, Amazon making it so we could deploy infrastructure with simpler web APIs. And then I saw what happened with the iPhone and Android when it came to delivering resources to mobile apps. And in 2010, I started studying just what was going on. I started API Evangelist, which you mentioned is my secondary title there, and started studying it. And I studied APIs for a decade, basically got my PhD in APIs, did work with a lot of enterprise organizations, worked for the Obama administration in 2013 doing API strategy. Something I continue to do to this day, working with government agencies. And then 2020, 2019, right before the world kind of changed on us, I was looking to get more hands-on. I felt like I had my PhD. I want to apply it. And I looked around the playing field, and there was really only one place I felt that rose to the level where I wanted to apply my skills, and that was Postman.
It's an awesome run. The way you engage the community, I think it's both API enthusiasts as well as people who are actually active users of Postman is so genuine. What is your mission at Postman?
Just to make developers' lives easier. And I would widen that developer to just API consumers, because we see the types of roles that are involved in the API lifecycle, both producing and consuming APIs. Is not just developers anymore. So we see a lot of product managers, business stakeholders involved in the process. And so really just making people who are producing and consuming APIs, their lives easier when it comes to trying to accomplish their business objectives.
Is there a distinction in enabling whether you're producing or consuming APIs, or do you find through your work and through what Postman does, it's sort of a universal approach in supporting best practices or just enabling folks to do what they need to do?
With successful API providers, a balance between producer and consumer is essential. There can't be that imbalance there. There has to be a feedback loop. Your consumers have to move forward with you with each version, with each change. There has to be communication and no breaking changes and other things along the way. But I'm also seeing in the last 2 or 3 years that producer and consumer life cycle, which is intertwined and interwoven, the actual life cycle is more of a business life cycle. And I'm seeing more organizations, large enterprises say, we've created APIs. We got on the API bandwagon in 2015. We listened to the vendors. We listened to Gartner, that producer-heavy view. We use Postman. We're embracing the consumer side, and we've launched a bunch of APIs. We have a portal. We've published APIs, but they're very technical led APIs. They're fine. We had a few hackathons, we ate some pizza, and we had a good time, but there was no business impact there. And so that API product manager and getting business stakeholders involved and taking that balanced producer and consumer lifecycle, but wrapping it in something that's more meaningful to business and actually generating business value is really where the life cycle is going. So companies have to realize it's not just a producer conversation, it's a consumer conversation, but it's also a business conversation.
What's an example of an API that you've come across, or maybe an experience or integration where you knew there was an underlying set of APIs that just blew your mind to say, that is pushing the use of APIs as far as I've seen to date?
So Twitter has always been the one that I love. It is the most important API to me. It's the one I love the most and the one that I hate the most, to be honest, because it's like some of their legacy practices and stances towards developers have been not very good. Lately, they've totally reversed course, and they're amazing with their latest version. They have a business strategy around their API. So it's not just, wow, the API is amazing, and it pushes the boundaries. It's what human impact, what's the human blast radius around an API as far as influencing the world. And the Twitter API by far is that. What excites you when it comes to APIs, doing APIs in the next 5 years?
I look at things mostly now through what my family's doing and how my family's so dependent on technology, both the convenience of it as well as the invasiveness of it. Think about smart home. It's sort of the balance of, I want more. I'm a huge fan of what's happening, but with great power comes the great responsibility, and I'd like to see more of that come up alongside. So whenever we're talking about the openness or availability of APIs to create these experiences, right next to it is, and here is the confidence level that us as developers or as consumers need to see to assure us that things are well managed enough that we can all use those things with confidence. Ken, thank you so much for the time here and talking through your passion and your dedication to APIs. As an API evangelist, I would also call you maybe an API laureate. The way you speak to it is sort of the most eloquent and informative amongst anybody I know. It's always great to talk to you, and I really appreciate having known you for so long and continue to be inspired by your work in the API space.
Appreciate it, Chuck. This is a great conversation. I love being able to have these with folks who've been in the games for so long and get it at the level you do. And look forward to doing this again in the future sometime. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today on Developer's Edge. If you like the conversation, be sure to subscribe and check out our other series. For additional content, tune in to the Developer's Edge podcast, available on Google, Spotify, and Apple. Until next time, take care, and we'll talk again soon.